I have 2 tattoos that I recently got, and one is visible, very visible. As you can see, it's a butterfly on my neck. The other one is behind my right ear, and it's a 666. And I know a lot of people refer to 66 or relate 66, you know, to something evil, but I don't think it's evil. I think it's science and astrology, however you want to say it, but I really don't think it's evil. And I'm gonna explain the 666 tattoo. There's a verse inside Revelations 13:18. Here is wisdom, let him that he understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So that's 666. And to me, the 666 represents carbon atoms as 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. Atom in the Bible, of course, we all know it's spelled A-D-A-M, but the atom I'm talking about is spelled, you know, A-T-O-M. There's gonna be a lot of word synonyms in this, and to me, the synonyms, I'm sorry, I have trouble pronouncing that word, to me is like almost a secret. It's like for every word that we know, there's a deeper meaning, because it's not even it's other ways to say it. It's other words you say. If you just look at a word for what it is, or if you read, it's almost like reading between the lines. Like, oh, a synonym is like a word within a word. It's like almost like a secret. I'm reading from this, which I'm gonna have, you know, on a screen. The Bible reads like a puzzle, you know, for unlocking the world, you know, life. But the catch is you have to be able to read it from an uneducated mind, not a mind that has been indoctrinated in school or church. You have to be self-taught to understand the Bible. You have to be wise, not educated. When you seek knowledge yourself, you get your own experience and you get your own ideas. Whether if you're reading something or you're being indoctrinated, you know, indoctrination is like you being forced to accept it without any question. So I believe that that's what the school system is like. You're being told like this is the way it is, and you know, don't if you think another way, then you're wrong. And I don't believe that. I believe everybody, you know, life is through its own experience. Like I read a book, The Alchemist, and really it's like his whole life, his whole understanding came from he had a dream, and in the dream it told him that a treasure was going to be a certain place, and then he went on this journey to look for this treasure. You know, he comes back and find out that it was basically he didn't have to go anywhere, you know, to sum up the story, that it was right there. But it's like he had to learn that for himself. So even with what I say, you still want your own opinion, you still want to experience your own thing. This is just my truth, you know. Everyone has to find their own truth, and that's what I mean by that. Back to all the words, I'm gonna be explaining like synonyms. I'm gonna be explaining like what these American English words means to us, based like the origin of the word, and like the Latin meaning of the word, to like get a better understanding of what we're looking at. That's Latin for educate. It means to lead out, and Latin for education is the same, but the shan, the T-O-I-N in education is English, and it takes out the T, so it's going to be spelled I-O-N. In Greek, you know, I-O-N is go. It means to go. It also means an atom or molecule with a net electric charge due to the loss or gain of one or more electrons. When you put that word education together, what I just said about school, how it's indoctrinating, it's like basically education means to be lit out. But what are we being lit out from? And it's like the loss of one or more molecules. It's like the loss of our self. our true self. It's like we're being let out of the self, you know, out of our body. Like, you know, being educated in the school system and the institution is a good thing, but it's also like they're the lost sheep, because it's almost like if you're all being taught one thing, it's like you have one mind, and what one of you knows is like all of y'all know the same thing. It's not an individual thought. Going to school, especially going to school for a number of years, when you go to grad school and you know you're trying to, you know, achieve something, masters and stuff, it takes a lot of determination, and it takes a lot of self-discipline to be able to go to school for all those years consistently. So I'm not taking that away from people that's educated. I'm just saying that that's a lot of energy could have been spent on you getting to know yourself within. It's a stable subatomic particle with a charge of negative electricity found in all atoms and acting as the primary carrier of electricity in solids. So the subatomic means like the lower or lesser. That's subatomic, you know, and in Latin it's under. And a solid is a body or a geometric figure having 3 dimensions. Our bodies, you know, are 3 dimensions. The pyramids have 3 dimensions. Electrons, protons, neutrons, that's 3. The electrons is like, would be considered like the negative electricities that you have in your body, right? But it's also the primary carrier of electricity in solids, but it's almost like fight or flight. It's just your natural instincts, and it's not that we have to, you know, suppress our natural instincts or try to control it. I would say more that it needs a balance. So with every negative needs a positive. If the electrons is the negative parts of ourselves, or the negative energy in our 3-dimension solid body, and then it has like, it's the subatomic, it's a stable subatomic particle. So it's the lesser, it's under, so it's almost like our lower selves. Okay, now let's talk about electricity. Electricity is a form of energy resulting from the existence of charged particles such as electrons or protons, either statically as an accumulation of charge or dynamically as a current. Your electricity is your charge, is your goal, and it's the part of you it's a state or feeling of thrill and excitement. So if that electricity, you know, inside your solid, inside your body, is only led by the negative electrons, you know, you're acting on your lower self, and you need a balance somewhere. The protons is a stable subatomic particle occurring in all atomic molecule with a positive electric charge equal in magnitude to that of an electron, but of opposite sign. So that means it has the same amount of charge, the same amount of energy as the electron that we just talked about, except for it's on the opposite sign. So the opposite of negative will be positive. So your protons will be your positive energy. So you have to balance your protons with your electrons. For the protons, if you break up that word, right, the Latin word for pro is for, on behalf of. So when you break down that word, right, it's almost like, okay, now you doing the protons, you on your positive energy, so you're acting on your higher self, on behalf of, like on behalf of whom? No, you're acting on behalf of your on yourself, on your higher self. But whatever you identify your higher self to be, I want people to follow it, but I don't want a word like that to get people distracted, or, you know, think I'm talking about religion when I'm not. I'm just talking about the science of. Now we're gonna go to neutrons, and what neutrons is is a subatomic particle of about the same mass as a proton without an electric charge. Is present in all atomic molecules except those of ordinary hydrogen. And you know, hydrogen is water. And the tron and electron and neutron is a subatomic particle. So nu and neutron, the NEU means to go. Just like the ION means in education means to go. And the elect in electron, you know, the ELEC means sun. So all the words that begin with electron, whatever, generates from the Greek word electra, which means beaming sun. You know, if it originates from the Greek word which means beaming sun, that means that the sun is electric. And we need the sun. It's an electron. That's what helps when you stay in the sun and activates your electrons. And electrons is the negative energy. It's the beaming sun. Instead of a spell with a K instead of a C with the Greek way, refers to amber. And it's beaming sun. And this right here is I want to make sure y'all see it good. This right here is a amber crystal stone, a gemstone. Can you see it? Yeah. And if you put it in the sun, see, if I put it in the sun here, see how that is? You could see it better, but the let it shine, see the color from the sun. You can hardly see it. But this is an amber stone. This is the amber crystal I have here. The amber is a hard, translucent, falsified raisin. That word, the raisin, is mentioned 5 times in the Bible. In Genesis, and we all know only Genesis means the beginning and the root, and Exodus means the departure and the exit, right? So the basis of the word neutron is both neutral and the suffix on. So which probably comes from the Greek word ION, except for with the accent over the O this time. So for Greek it means to go. So we keep on seeing this in education, go. And it's like the way I decode it is almost like go on behalf of the sun. So religiously, people might take the sun to mean something else, as in a Holy Spirit. But what I'm actually talking about is the constellations. I'm actually talking about the actual sun in the sky. Like for instance, some people say walked on water because he was the sun, right? But people also refer that to when you look at water or the sunset or the sun rise on water. It's almost like the sun is walking on water. It's almost as like the Bible is a story about people interpreted by reading the constellations. So it's like if you follow Egyptian, ancient Egyptian gods, this dignity represents the sun, and this one represents the moon. They was very wise people, but they didn't have schools back then and stuff like that. So what they did, so you know, people could learn stuff, is they told it like stories. So it would be told, it would be you will come to understanding of the constellations through storytelling, you know. So it's like when they tell the story of the constellations, to help someone easily remember, this dignity represents this. Like they tell it within a story where it's about dignities and stuff like that, but it's actually a story about constellations. So it wouldn't be an actual person, the sun walking on water. It would be the actual constellation, the sun walking on water, because that's what you see when you when the sun is set on the water. When you put like neutrons, protons, and electrons, you know, the NPE together, what I found is funny, is ironic to me how the NPD stands for non-paternity event, meaning, and is meaning on a DNA test that the person who is assumed to be the father is not biologically the father, coincidence or not. So I found that funny that if you put the NPE together, it's like that's what it's a non it's a non-paternity event, you know. And that's the term that they use in the DNA testing when the person who is assumed to be the father is not. And it's, you know, if you follow the story inside the religion, and you even start from when Adam and Eve, they had Cain and Abel, you know, Cain, you know, murdered Abel, and then they had a third son, Seth. And it's like, you know, it says that, you know, Adam and Eve had the third son, but in between that, you know, at the beginning it says that you also remember that Eve ate this apple. But in other, you know, without the King's other books besides the King James version, like the Quran for instance, the apple, it doesn't say apple, it actually say, you know, fornication, sex. So it wasn't an apple she ate, it was intercourse that they had. So, you know, when you think of the tree of life, you think about the placenta and how placenta look. So I think that what religion does, at least what the King James version does, is the religion that's like Christianity, I guess what they did was they took it everything literal to mean man and woman, but what we're really talking about is the cosmos, the constellations, and we're talking about life. We're talking about something bioscientific. So 666 is not a physical monster or beast. It's inside of us. What's within is without, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I got the 666 tattoo, and I hope I didn't confuse people too much, but that's what it means to me. The 666 is behind here. I don't know if you could see that very well, but it's not very like visible unless I have my hair up or something. So it's just like, it's just crazy that everything in this reality that we have here, it's like everything is designed to take us away from self, away from our true selves. But when you're actually talking about is the stars and you know, zodiac signs, and you know, so you're talking about Pisces, Cancer, Taurus, Leo, you talk about that, but you're putting inside, you're placing it within a story where you're talking about gods, you know, you're talking about gods and you talk about this, but it's like the Christian way is almost the way that they're trying to base it off of reality. Oh, and not only that, we have a portrait of this guy that, you know, the sun, this is how he looks. So it's like, you know, it's make everything racist. It's like it turned ancient Egyptian, you know, history, it turned it like it's the opposite. Everybody knows the butterfly starts off as a caterpillar first, and then the transition, it has to go through to become a butterfly. Like it has to be like mush, and it has to almost look like a disgusting form before it actually becomes a butterfly. So to me, that's like how we have to grow spiritually. Like, you know, we're in our cocoons, like you know, our knowledge of what's around us, like we're almost sheltered in a way inside our cocoons until we experience the world and we're able to mature into to a full butterfly, you know. And that's like when you're a butterfly, you know, that's your growth, you know, you elevate it higher for me. And you know, and also we're going to continue to break down words like we did with the 666 meaning for that. And the word caterpillar, right? If you break down cater, right, it means to feed, it means to nourish, it means to provide someone with what is needed or with required. So, you know, first we're in our mother's like we're sheltered, right? So we're being provided with the stuff that we need, like a kid need, you know, love, shelter, nourishment, you know, just what the things that we need. We all have the things, we're all born with the things that we need. And pillar, what is a pillar? It's a structure to provide essential support. So, you know, it's our support system. It's a caterpillar. It's like it provides support, it supplies nurturing, it supplies all of that. So you put cater and pillar together, it's like a support. It provides support. It's a structure. It's nature. It's everything. It's, you know, feed to nourish. It's everything that we need within inside our body, what we're born with already. And then it's like, if you know, you heard of the phrase, you know, from pillar to post. It means from one place to another in unceremonious or fruitless manner. You know, fruitless of a tree not producing fruit, or like without any like direction really. Just going to one place to another, transitioning, because you're a tree, but you're like a stump. Like you're not producing any fruit yet. You're still in the early stages where fruit has to develop. When you plant the tree, the last thing that grows is the fruit. So you have to be patient, you know. You have to let the phases go through all the phases. There's no skipping it. So you have to wait, and the only thing you could do is water it and nurture it and feed it and keep on feeding it, you know, until it produces fruit. So the Latin word, you know, the Latin term is pillar, or, you know, mortarium. And from that word mortarium, you could get mortar, you know, if you take off the I, the U and the M, which means a building. So it's like still in that structure. And a trough is like also a mortarium is like also like a trough. What a trough is a feed box. It's a feeder. And the English term is tree. A butterfly eats from trees. It eats from flowers. It eats from plants. We need to eat from trees. Like we need fruits and vegetables. We should be eating fruits. We should be eating vegetables, as so a butterfly does, and that's what builds a butterfly to grow and to have everything they need. So a butterfly, a term for butterfly is papillonium, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's a what that is the papillonium is a tent. It's also, it goes back to the building, the support, the nurturing. It's a tent. Papilio is a butterfly or a moth, and papillonium is a building used as a shelter. And a moth, a term for moth is, I'm going to give you this, is in another language, right? And a moth eat natural fibers. I think that you will find in like clothes or something like that. A butterfly eats fibers from plants, and a moth will eat like from polyester, like from clothing, from that type of material. That's why I got the butterfly, because it's like it's a transition from like my lower self to my high self, and like transitioning that I'm always elevated and I'm always growing and eating the right fruits, you know, from the food box, from the trees, and you know, everything in it. And I hope that I explain my tattoos correctly, but that's the way it is. And yeah, that's why I got these tattoos.